and our friends are doing an event. They already did an event outside of Cherry Hill Abortion Clinic where baby Clementine was killed, and her due date was today. So they already did an event outside of Cherry Hill. Girlfriend of mine that works for Survivors of the Abortion Holocaust is doing a sidewalk counseling event in honor of Clementine in Southern California. And then I thought, wait a second, ABR is right here in Alameda. They have been a huge part of fetal organ harvesting and her story in particular. So why don't we see if people are willing to gather to honor Clementine on her birthday? And Tommy, her father and mother, did not want this to be necessarily like a super solemn event or even necessarily a big protest, but to be a time of celebrating that Clementine is not, her death was not in vain, and this will help further. I mean, we really think that Clementine can be like the Emmett Till of this movement. You know, Emmett Till, his casket, they had an open casket funeral for this young black man that was lynched brutally by white men in the civil rights era, and it really blew the lid off of what the racism that was happening in the South. And we're just hoping that that will be what happens with Clementine. So basically, you guys probably have seen the viral video of Tommy Kearns on the Students for Life Instagram, where he was this grieved father who drove hours and hours from Florida to another part of Florida because he heard that this group called Students for Life was doing like a Q&A at a university. And he had just found out that he lost his daughter to abortion. Tommy drove to speak at this event because he was just grieved. He was on like a path to just tell the world how he was feeling about the death of his daughter and the injustice of it. And kind of all the facts about surrounding her death and her body being donated were falling into place. So that video went viral. And this couple has been on an absolute scorched earth mission to get their daughter's body back and to uncover the horror behind fetal organ harvesting in places like ABR in this building here. And one thing that Tommy said that kind of makes me laugh, but he said, you know, they effed with the wrong couple. He's like, and they really did. I mean, I have 56 pages of research that the couple, the parents of this baby, have done on behalf of their daughter. So I could talk a long time about this, but I'm going to have us actually listen to Tommy's testimony on a Bluetooth speaker from the Students for Life event. And then Robert's going to share a little bit more about fetal organ harvesting.
Before I get into my question, I just wanted to say my daughter's name is Clementine. She was 5 months along when she was aborted in New Jersey. My daughter was healthy. I begged her mother not to go through with the abortion. For 5 months, we went back and forth. I don't hate my ex. I love her. And I'm working on forgiving her. She was confused, she was uncertain, and she had doubts. Mike Tyson has doubts before he gets into a ring. This was an option, and she took that option, and she regrets it. Why do you think, and this is just a thought that just came to my head, why do you think that people dehumanize my Clementine? Why wasn't she human enough for people to help me mourn? Why wasn't she human enough for people to talk about? My mother was given birth to prematurely at 5 months. My daughter was 5 months. I didn't get to say goodbye to my daughter. I didn't know about the abortion until after it happened. I begged her not to do the appointment. She told me that she canceled it. My daughter was 5 months, and she was ripped apart. My daughter doesn't get a funeral. My daughter doesn't get respect. As my friend asked, yeah, medical testing on a healthy baby. Why? My girlfriend didn't pay for the abortion. The clinic did. How much money did they make off of my daughter's body? How many other babies did the doctor kill since she's been dead? This has been a month and 3 days. This happened March 12th and 13th. My daughter was conceived October 25th. She was supposed to be born July 20th. My daughter was a person. My daughter is an angel. And I pray for her every single day. I talk to her. I still feel like she's there. I feel like on July 20th, my daughter's gonna be there. She doesn't get a funeral. I have her sonogram picture the first time I heard her heartbeat. And I bring this up to people and I say, well, she had a heartbeat. Wasn't she a person? And I'm being told she's a fetus, which, by the way, everybody, that's Latin for offspring. Okay? So I don't know why we're speaking Latin. I speak English. And my daughter not only matters, but I do not want my daughter to be forgotten. I want my daughter's story to be talked about. I want her to be remembered. She wasn't just a fetus, and yeah, maybe she was just a 10%, maybe. But she was a lot more than that for me. For 5 months, I'm told by my friends, I'm crying over somebody I never met before. I'm told by people, well, she wasn't even a person. She was just a fetus. She wasn't even a baby. She wasn't fully developed. My daughter was still growing. And my relationship with my daughter was going to grow for the rest of our lives. Why isn't my daughter human enough for people to care? Why isn't my daughter woman enough for her to have a body and for her to have a choice? My original question when I was coming up here was, can I see the clamps? I don't want to see the clamps no more. I've heard enough about it. I've seen the pictures. And yeah, the guy said Wi-Fi and Google search. You could Google what it looks like. It's out there. I did. I wouldn't recommend it. I still have nightmares. My daughter was going to be beautiful. But now I don't know where she is. I'm just so confused. I get it. I'm just a man. You know what I mean? But men, we're not supposed to have feelings. As a father, because I'm still a father. As a father, I'm just supposed to forget. I'm just supposed to move on. And I'm confused. So my question really isn't for you because you understand. My question is really for society. Why doesn't my daughter matter? Why wasn't she enough? Why didn't she get a chance to live? And ultimately, no, I'm not blaming my ex. She had doubt, and she regrets it. Ultimately, this is our government's fault. We've stopped evil laws in the past, in America, in Germany. You guys know what I'm talking about. We came together and we stopped evil laws. This is an evil law that killed my daughter. Her mother did not kill her. Again, doctors like this man right here, you're not to blame. Thank you for doing what you're doing, and thank you for speaking up, because this is important. And not enough men care enough to speak up. So thank you. I hugged this man today. I don't know who did this to my daughter. I wish I could ask him, was my daughter beautiful? That's all I want to know. What did her face look like? My daughter matters. And I really hope that everybody remembers Clementine. And I hope you think about Clementine as much as I do. She is loved and she is not forgotten. And I hope that everybody can keep her memory alive too. Thank you.
I think we'll skip the second video, Robert, and I'd love for you to come up and share a little bit about ABR's role with all of this.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for coming out here on what would have been Clementine's due date. Would have been her first birthday. I'm been brought up here to speak about the organization housed in this office complex, Advanced Bioscience Resources, and its role in the exploitation of Clementine. Through the staff of abortion facilities like the Cherry Hill Center in New Jersey, or with their own personnel, companies like Advanced Bioscience Resources target pregnant families before the scheduled abortions, promising them that their procedure will help medical researchers develop drugs that will save sick people. And make sure you heard me right. I didn't say after. I said before the scheduled abortion appointment, they get into these conversations. Whether days, hours, or minutes before, it depends. For some who are on the fence about going through with abortion, hearing all of this about medical research and helping, research diseases, create, therapies for people, therapeutics, hearing all of this can yank away the possibility for them to change their minds and choose life. That yanks away the chance for them to change their minds and leave the facility altogether. After the consent form is signed for collecting the aborted baby's remains, the child is killed, their life is ended, and then companies like ABR step in and ship the dead human remains off to medical research laboratories. In the year 2015, the news outlet Politico reported, quote, "The Food and Drug Administration has paid about $73,000 to ABR since 2009, federal health officials say, mostly for liver and thymus tissue that are used largely to develop a human-like immune system in mice that can be used to test new drug therapies without endangering people." Side note, how are they not endangering people? By crafting their study around the population of human guinea pigs, around these aborted babies that they've decided to target from the outset. Back to the quote. Advanced Bioscience Resources is the main paid provider of fetal tissue to the federal government, officials said. Close quote. That contract, by the way, with FDA laboratories was canceled in 2018, thankfully. It was canceled due to criminally suspect activity that the Department of Health and Human Services uncovered. And you can learn all about that here. I actually have a QR code if you wanted to scan this now or later on.
Later on.
Yeah, anytime someone wants to learn more about ABR's criminally suspect behavior. The thing is though, even if ABR and companies like them cross all their T's legally, dot all their I's, what they're engaged in is exploiting parents. It is taking away a chance for parents to choose life. None of this should be allowed. Today, Clementine's mom is fighting for her daughter's dignity. She's continually begging for her child's body. Clementine today can still be identified through medical record numbers. By law, this information is kept on file somewhere safe and secure for decades. So the two of them, Clementine and her mother, are inextricably linked in multiple ways. Tommy, Clementine's father, shared with us some of the research that he had done on his own regarding ABR. In the snippets of documentation that we've seen, two companies are mentioned by name in Clementine's mom's patient record information. ABR and a company called Circle Allocation Services, CERCLE, sounds like circle. From the public records, we know who the president of ABR is, an Alameda resident by the name of Linda Tracy. She's a public figure.
Linda Tracy.
And she's been, noted in more than one article out there through the news about her work in this field. Turns out she is also the chief financial officer of this second company, Circle Allocation Services. So we corroborated Tommy's research as through our work at Pro-Life San Francisco, and found that Linda Tracy's side hustle, Circle, is listed as an East Coast corporation that just registered in California last year. And their listed purpose on the California Secretary of State website is Biotech Research Procurement Services, the same thing that ABR does. So we have an Alameda resident as an executive over both companies, both involved in the story of Clementine. We need to awaken the consciences of these people, of these executives, people who are our neighbors in the Bay Area community. They must decide in their hearts to stop targeting people and seek to help the world without treating anyone like research material, without considering babies in the womb as good as dead. Death is the villain here, and we cannot allow a system of death where killing is seen as a solution. It is not, it never is. It backfires, it creates disorder, and it's morally wrong.
Amen.
Let's call on Linda Tracy to do right by Clementine. Thank you.
Excellent, Robert. Thank you. Someone new joined us. What's your name?
John.
John Sullivan? Or
No.
He's not here yet. Oh, okay.
I know John Sullivan, but I'm John Scott.
Okay, you're another John. Hey, thank you for being here. Love to have you. That was really powerful. And in layman's terms, like with this new discovery yesterday that Robert and I were researching, is like essentially circle allocations. Is this woman Linda that lives here in Alameda? She is kind of the biggest villain of the story, and she basically has a baby body parts FedEx to help out her baby body parts store, which is ABR. And again, I think I was telling you earlier, Rhonda, that we're unsure if there is storage in this building for babies, if there's refrigeration. We don't really know that, and we'd love to know it. David Delighten doesn't think so, but we can't be sure like exactly what's happening with storage. But we still think it's important to be here at the site of ABR's brick and mortar facility.
If I can add one more
Yes, please.
about that. So this is the base where they plan and plot all of their nationwide activities. When it comes to the question of storage, some believe that as far as they know, as far as it's gathered in their research, ABR and companies like them ship directly from the abortion centers they partner with directly to the laboratory researchers they partner with on the opposite end. So we can't know for sure whether there's any storage here, but maybe we'll find out something different in the days, months, years to come.
So now we're going to open it up just for an open share for anyone that would want to do a share out for 2 minutes. And then we'll do a closing prayer, and we're going to kind of ceremoniously cut the cake. So can I invite Anastasia to open up the open share?
Yes. Can I use your phone?
Yes, totally.
I asked ChatGPT to write a poem
Okay.
about Clementine, so we're gonna hear an AI poem to start my little share here. But it's pretty good. It's pretty
Nice.
good.
Oh, hey, the other John.
Lovely. So, in the softest dawn, a tiny star did gleam. Clementine so loved, a fleeting dream. In arms too soon she found her rest, a tender soul forever blessed. With each gentle breath, a whisper of grace, a fleeting touch, a precious trace. Though time was brief, her spirit bright, in hearts she touched a lasting light. Like petals kissed by morning dew, her memory lingers pure and true. Though tears may fall like gentle rain, her love within us an eternal refrain. So sleep, sweet Clementine, in peaceful repose, where love forever blooms and grows. Though parted from this earthly scene, in hearts and dreams forever serene. I thought that was like a really sweet poem. Like I said, it's just ChatGPT. I didn't write it, but I thought it was very sweet. I saw Clementine's ultrasound picture the first time when I was in Washington, D.C. I actually missed the video that was played earlier. initially. I had seen it since then when I met Tommy and it was brought up to me. If I'm not mistaken, this is about the size Clementine would have been during the procedure, right? In this model. But yeah, and this is her ultrasound. And it just, to me, it's so tragic that this is happening, that this is going on, that babies are being tortured in this way, that mothers are being taken advantage of, and that Clementine should have grown and should have been able to do everything that all of us have been able to do. She should have been able to have a full childhood. She should have been able to randomly decide we're going to go to Paris and go to a Taylor Swift concert one time. Like, whatever it may be, that makes you happy, which is something I did recently. But whatever makes you happy, like, Clementine should have been able to experience all of that. She should have been able to live here. She should have been able to be part of our society. And she was for a brief time. But her life was taking way too short because of places like ABR, because of the demand for this fetal tissue, for these fetal organs, because of the way the system is. And just, she was completely taken advantage of and exploited, and her mother as well. I've seen the consent forms, at least for UCSF, and I'm sure they're very similar elsewhere. And it is very clear that those consent forms, like Robert said, are being signed early, and they're being signed ahead of time. Once you sign that, it really makes you feel like you're doing the world a favor. Like, if you read those consent forms, they're really framed to make you feel like if you withdraw your consent, you're kind of a jerk. Like, that's kind of the way I interpret it, is it makes it it adds another layer to changing your mind. And I think that in and of itself makes it very difficult for a lot of mothers who had decided that that might be something they want to do. I also just really want to talk about, so that kind of covers, it's not ethical research and it's not caring about moms, because you're literally exploiting them and their children. But I want to talk a little bit more about animal experimentation. I know that Robert touched on it, but one of the most common ways this is used, for anyone who doesn't know, is they'll take like liver cells from an aborted fetus and inject them into a newborn mouse's liver. And then as that mouse develops, that liver will be humanized. It will kind of be part human, part mice. And all in all, the mouse's like immune systems and stuff like that will start acting like a human immune system. So that's what they do to these mice, and then perform tons of experiments on them, inject them with drugs. HIV research was very common using this. They would basically give these mice HIV, see how they react, do some experiments, see if things change, and then kill and dissect the mouse. And for me, like, that is horrific as well. I think obviously it's horrific that human children are being aborted, but to me it's horrific that they're further exploiting other babies, whether it be a mice in this case, or a mouse, sorry, be a mouse in this case, but they're exploiting other babies as well in order to do their research. And the research there's other ways to do research. Like, I have a biology degree, I have a lot of like research into research, and animal experimentation in general is something that happens a lot, but it doesn't usually even have real results. Whatever happens to a mouse is not exactly what's going to happen to a human. You can get a good idea, you can get a prediction, but you can never know, and it's just exploiting that mouse as well. So I just wanted to touch on that as well, because obviously it's Clementine's story is tragic. So I try not to cry in public, but what Clementine had to go through, what her mom had to suffer, what her dad is struggling with to get her body back, I wish Clementine was here with us right now, and that she could breathe the air and hear random people yelling at Bart and see the wind blow and like all the things that we kind of just see on our day-to-day that we take advantage of. And Clementine deserved that. She didn't deserve to go this way, and this company right here doesn't deserve to be in business, to be doing what they're doing. I read an article that I'm assuming is talking about this company, but it just said a company in California. So I'm assuming it's talking about this one, to be honest, but it was in this about tissue research. But even if it's not, the point is it was saying that this company is like the leader of doing this across the world. It's saying like there's so many baby body parts that are just coming through this company. It's just horrendous. This really shouldn't be happening. There's not a purpose for it. There's not it's just money. It's just ways to get things in this society. So I just wanted to say that, and just like, we're gonna remember Clementine. We're not gonna forget her, and we're gonna keep fighting for her and for babies like her. And we're gonna end abortion in this country, but we're gonna end fetal organ harvesting. We're gonna end this horrible tissue research and this exploitation of mothers. So rest in peace, Clementine, and happy birthday.
Thanks, Anastasia. That's beautiful. Would anyone else want to share?
I'll go.
I have to say something as a walker by. I used to work at UCSF, and I was involved in genetic research with mice. And my job was to, my boss would harvest mouse embryos, and we would study the DNA. And my boss had this weird, like, mural in her lab of mutant creatures swimming around, and I just was really disturbed about the darkness that I felt. And at one point, I saw a door, and I prayed, even though I'd never had any experience with God. I said, God, if you'll take me out of this, I will follow you. And that was the beginning of my faith journey. So I just wanted to commend all of you for being here and doing this.
Thank you, John. Anyone else
Thank
want to
you.
speak?
I'll say something.
So, hi y'all, my name is Melanie. I'm with Pro-Life San Francisco, and I'm glad that we can be here on Clementine's estimated due date to humanize her, because I think so much when we're fighting against abortion to save lives, it kind of feels maybe impersonal or far away, something that's distant. But I'm glad that we can know the name of Clementine, and we know she was a girl, and we know about how big she was when she was killed at 5 months. And I recently had my first baby, and around 5 months is when I started feeling him kicking and moving. And so I can just imagine that Clementine's mom probably also was starting to feel her kicking and moving. And it deeply saddens me to know that even when you felt your child in the womb, somehow you were still led to abortion. And I really hope and pray that together we can work towards a society that's not just post-Roe v. Wade, but post-abortion, where we welcome life and we celebrate life. And when someone finds themselves in an unexpected pregnancy, the immediate response is, congrats, and let's take you to the nearest pregnancy help center. And Planned Parenthood isn't even a thought, because we know the resources that exist. And I dream of an America that has a plethora of resources to help new moms. I hope that we can change the culture, that even if you find yourself in a hard circumstance, you know the resources that exist, and that we will be a pro-life society. Everyone, abortion will not be a thought, because the default is life. The default is celebrating life and supporting women, and that we will be the village, because it does take a village, but that every person, the community, will be a village to support these moms, to support new families. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to humanize Clementine, to know her name, to know how big she was, and you know, I hope and pray for a world where no child will be ripped apart, where no child's organs and body parts will be for research. How barbaric. And I know one day we will have our National Museum of Pro-Life History. I keep saying it because I'm gonna speak it into existence. One day we're gonna have it. And it will be people like Clementine and Clementine's dad and Clementine's ultrasound that will be in that museum. So happy birthday, Clementine. I love you. And I hope that you can intercede for us in heaven.
I'll say the signature catchphrase is, hi y'all. I wanted to just reiterate Melanie's sentiment and message, and just to kind of give you my firsthand experience with talking to many people across the country in my pro-life trainings, and just having that realization that people just don't know the reality of what abortion is, or just even the current events, like Justice for the Five, the babies that were found by activist friends of ours, and these people are in the movement and they have no idea. And so just to reiterate that not only does abortion kill the life of the child, but it also creates mental and physical and emotional health of the mother and the father. And this is the example that we see. Clementine's story and her parents fighting for her for demanding justice, and also to fight against this industry that has lied, cheated, and stealed. And so know that we are up against principles of power is above us, but that we have to be fighting. We have to be telling our friends and families and neighbors of the injustice. And similar to what Emma said, that we only hope that showcasing not only the baby's humanity through ultrasounds, but showcasing the reality of what abortion does, the aftermath, can be the open casket on abortion, and can change hearts and minds like it has done. Now, there is a time and place where we should showcase. There's also a time and place when the conversation needs to be open and opt-in. So I know that Clementine's parents' hearts are in a battle and a struggle, and if we can be part of their story to help spread not only this message of truth and love and hope, but to showcase how the other side is extreme on this issue, that they're okay for abortion up until the moment of birth, and they're even okay. If they're okay killing humanity in the womb, it makes it that much easier for them to kill us outside. And we're seeing many evidence around that in the world, especially our neighbors in the north in Canada. And so we want to make sure that we create that and foster that culture of life. And just happy birthday, Clementine.
Anyone else want to share?
Okay. Pro-Life SF is not a religious organization, but as a Christian, I feel it's important to pray in times like this, and I'm one of the board members for Pro-Life SF, and I love that they're kind of a Big Tent organization that invites all different types of people in. But if you feel comfortable joining me in prayer, I'm just gonna freestyle it and then end with an Our Father. So if you feel comfortable, I'd love you to join me. Dear Lord, we thank you. I thank you for the people that are here today that showed up last minute to celebrate baby Clementine. And I just ask you, Jesus, to end fetal organ harvesting and to shut down ABR in Jesus' name. There are faithful prayer warriors out here, and I beg you to hear our cries, weekly cries, to end abortion, to end fetal organ harvesting. And Lord, we pray that Clementine's death would not be in vain, Lord. I pray for healing for her parents, and I pray for healing for this nation from the sin of abortion, God. And we pray, Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not unto temptation, but deliver us from evil, for thine.
Okay, if you have a program, there's a song that Tommy, Clementine's mom or dad, wrote. It's to the tune of the folk song "Oh Clementine," but he kind of rewrote it to be a little bit more related. It's actually kind of eerily similar to the lyrics already are kind of interesting, but it's slightly reworded. So I thought we could sing it together, and I would definitely want this to be captured because Tommy will want to see this, Robert. So I don't know if you're able to film all of us singing it.
Yeah, I'll move around.
That'd be great. Okay. You guys ready? Can we do it? Oh my darling,
Oh my darling, oh my darling, Clementine,
you are lost, but we will find you. Thanks, guys. That's it.
Let's do it again.
Yeah?
One more time.
Okay.
I was barely ready.
Okay, thank you.
Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, you are lost but we will find you, you're not forgotten Clementine.
Awesome. All right. So we're gonna cut the cake, take pictures. If you feel comfortable being in pictures, Tommy, Clementine's dad, is like really excited that we're here today, and I just think he would be so stoked to see photos of us here at ABR. He wishes he could be here, and trying to knock down the doors of ABR to get his daughter back. So anyway, let's cut the cake. And
How about group picture while the cake's intact?
Right. Good
Yes.
idea.
Okay.
Okay, if you guys feel comfortable, let's get here. We'll take a good idea, Melanie. Come on over here.
Okay.
So whoever's comfortable being in a group photo.
Okay. Should I? I guess I'll stop the live stream. Okay. We're gonna stop the live stream now, but just know what happens next is we cut the cake. Alrighty. Happy birthday, Clementine. Let me try to.
Rhonda, you're not gonna be in it? Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I'm stopping the live stream. Bye, everyone.